This episode of Inside Golf Podcast is brought to you by Inside Sports Network.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Boston Capital Twitter, Steve, on the Hold the Green podcast.
All right, we are live. Tapping birdie.
All right, Carson Young is here.
I bet Ludwig at 28.
Let's go. I bet
You
him
did
at,
too?
I bet him at 25.
Low sevens. I think there's some guys in here we like.
Harris English at 7,300. Why the fuck would I not bet Rory?
Good evening, everybody. It's Masters Week. It's the Hold the Green podcast with Capper and Steve. It's Masters Week, baby. It is the betting show. It is the Super Bowl for golf betting, even though it starts our season for casuals. Doesn't end it like the regular Super Bowl does. Steve, my brain is in a pretzel. I don't know what to do with fucking outrights. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I appreciate you sticking to the bit with the all Boston, but considering you went to the Masters last year and you bought a truckload full of merch, I'm surprised you didn't actually show up with the outfit tonight to celebrate the best show of the year for us.
I actually wore my Masters shirt to work yesterday.
Okay.
So, but I still have my Masters cup, my trusty Masters cup. Crow's nest.
No one can smell you through the stream. All right. If it's stinky or dirty, like you can just wear it and it's okay. I've done that before. I'm like, I just want to wear this tonight. I don't care if it's actually clean because you only see.
All right, fashion police. All right. Jeez.
Okay. All right. Well, I am very excited to talk about the Masters because, watching Augusta National on the television screen with just the vibrant green and all the flowers and everything, it just is a nice reminder that for me, at least up in Rochester, golf season is coming soon. It won't be cold and rainy and just miserable up here. It's always nice to see that, especially considering that Rochester, New York got an inch of snow today in April.
So miserable.
It's miserable. It's terrible. And I work in an industry that actually is happy about this stuff. And even I'm miserable. We can't even. Let's please move on to summer. Planet Earth, please. All right, I'm sick of all this. So, but yes, we will be talking about the Masters.
It was 92 degrees here yesterday. So,
all right, how about this? I'll yeah. Why don't you send some of those degrees up north? Okay, like for me,
seriously, I could.
All right, there you go. All right. Well, before we get all kind of into this, you say you're in a pretzel about the outright market. I am too. I mean, I made bets, but why don't you kick it off? Where is your head at with this entire board here as far as, we did our preview show, talked a lot about the weather, a little bit on skill sets.
Yeah.
What are you looking for this year as far as guys you want to bet, either just they've been good at the Masters before, form, mental fortitude?
Yeah, literally,
what do you
literally those
this week?
Yeah, those things, right? Approach play, mental fortitude around the green. For the winner, I want good course history. I don't see a long shot winning here, or even somebody midway down the board. So that's what's killing me. Is it's like, all right, well, Bobby Mack's getting talked about, Shane Lowry's getting talked about everywhere. Like that shit doesn't work out, right? It just doesn't. And then you look at the top of the board, and I don't want to bet Scottie at 4.5 to 1. Is he really gonna do the only thing like the Jack's done? Is he really gonna do that? I guess if anybody could do it, it would be him. But Tiger didn't do it, and Scottie's gonna do it. Rory, everything's lining up too perfectly for him. No storybook endings, right? Because if the storybook endings would have happened, I wouldn't have cashed the Cam Smith fucking British Open ticket. And then it's Rahm. Like, listen, I would love Rahm, but listen, if Rahm wasn't 13, I'd probably just bet Rahm and not think about it, right? And hope he comes back, and that he looks good. His press conference sounded good today, but the number's too short, right? I'm not betting him. I'm not like single boarding Rahm when I've barely watched him play any golf this year. I'm not betting Morikawa. I was never betting Morikawa, and then especially today after that pathetic press conference. What a wormy little fucking weasel. Like he's my least favorite golfer now. Like I think that was CP who put him in a pretzel too, by the way. I think that was Powers. And I wish he wasn't somewhere like Augusta. If fans chirp him, he will break mentally. Like I'm really worried about him being on the Ryder Cup team at this point. Like He is that mentally weak in my brain. Yeah, man. I mean, and then like Xander at 20, like that number seems fair to me. But do I really want to bet him coming off injury? Look, I know he just gained a ton with his irons, and it's Xander. He won 2 majors. He's gonna win 3 of the last 4 majors. That's crazy, right? Like a year ago, I was calling him a choker and he couldn't close, and now I'm gonna bet him 20-1 to fucking to win 3 majors. Like, yeah, man, I just don't know what to do. I'm not betting Cantlay. JT's maybe interesting now that he's got a new caddy. Maybe, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm just a complete mess.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just rambled about like 5 different players right there.
You said what you said. You said fucking like I think the top of the board is gonna win. So I just went over the top of the board and like.
Okay, all right, we'll go over more in depth. I think in a little bit. What about like betting card construction this week? Like, are you treating this like you normally do as far as like normal unit allocation, what you're looking to win, or just because it's the Masters, are you looking to kind of maybe have a little bit more fun with it?
I'll
and actually try and like maybe over leverage a little bit to make sure you maybe have a sweat on Sunday.
Yeah, so I'll overexpose myself, but it's not typically in the outright market. Like, unfortunately, Hard Rock is doing first round leader placements. I'm sure I'm going to waste a ton of money in that fucking market because I don't get that. So usually it's like the bets that I get to see everybody else make that I don't get to make. I get to make it 4 times a year. Those are usually where I overexpose myself. But for outrights, like I legitimately don't like. I just don't know what to do because I don't think anybody really long shot's going to win. So I have to. I'm not going to over leverage myself and put a 14-1 guy and a fucking 20-1 guy. I guess I could just do 14-20 and call it a day, but I don't know. That's no fun.
Okay. All right. I've said this a couple times in the Discord this year, and you guys look. I mean, I track my units. You guys see it every single week. Every bet I put on Discord, you know, it goes on the betting card. I tell you how much I'm betting on each one, and I keep track of it. This week, though, I feel like because it's the Masters and there is the added element of just, it's not only something to gamble on, it's a special event. It is a primetime event. It's something that you are going to enjoy watching and actually devote time to watch. And it's like similar to the Super Bowl, where you make a bunch of foolish bets. You probably over leverage yourself, but you just kind of want like a little sweat at the end of the day. And look, if you want to use this week to, you know, as long as you're not spending money that you don't have, or just like being stupid, like I'm going to bet Scottie, Rory, Rahm, like that's a dumb outright card. But if you're somebody who usually targets like 10x or 9x on your outrights, and you want to maybe go like 5.5, 6x this week, go for it. Who cares? It's freaking Masters. Have fun with it. You can go back to bean counting next week at Harbortown or at Byron Nelson. If you want to throw some stupid props, you know, some stupid money, some props that you know are bad value, but you just want to root for it for a sweat, I got one of those on my card this week. So, you know what? Have fun. Don't worry about if you put out an outright card and you've got a bunch of guys under 40-1 and you're a little over leveraged. You know what? Just make a card that makes you happy this week. This is supposed to be a happy tournament, a happy time to watch golf, and make a card that makes you happy. Okay, so whatever you want to bet, as long as you're not putting yourself in a bad financial position, go for it. And I kind of did that a little bit with my outright card this week, mostly because there's a big elephant in the room on it that I hate. So I chose to kind of just ignore him a little bit and just acknowledge that he's there and just say, you know what? Let's just build a card that kind of makes me happy, and maybe that's just a write-off, and it happens to work out. If it works out, it works out. It's probably not going to work out, but if it works out, it works out. So that's my philosophy this week.
I like it. See, I like that, Steve. That's the loose Steve. We don't get that very often. We don't get the YOLO, throw some random shitty prop bets on your card. Usually I'm scolded for that. So we'll take advantage of that this week. And then so Rishi brought it up. Florida, they're giving us like a 250 max, and if they finish top 5, you get your money back as a bonus bet. That's putting me in a pretzel. Like, where do I want to put that 250? Like, do I really want to hedge and just put it on Scottie or Rory, or do I want to put it on somebody with a little deeper odds? I'm just a mess, Steve. I'm a fucking mess.
All right. Well, let's do one other thing. I want to talk more about weather with the props I have later, because I bet some scoring props. Where are you at with this? Because we have the course conditions. We have from UT Stick, who was on the grounds today, about what he thought about course kind of drying out a little bit, but the greens are still pretty soft. There has been a narrative this week about, at least in our channels, about carry distance and whether that is just going to immediately price out guys who don't have a whole lot of length. Are you trending kind of in that direction too, or are you maybe not weighing it as heavily as I think others are doing this week?
So I'm not weighing it as heavy only because it looks like the weekend is going to be firm and fast, and that's when it matters. Like, look, for DFS to get it through the cut, I get that. But for like outright betting, if it's going to be firm and fast on the weekend, then whatever. As long as my guys are there, then it is what it is. Like I said, DFS is a different story. I mean, look, carry distance always helps, right? Doesn't like long always helps. So it's not like, but I don't think it eliminates certain guys who do well around here, who aren't necessarily long, good with the long irons and good around the green and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, so I've been talking a lot about the 2022 Masters this week as a good comp, where it got dumped with a bunch of rain early in the week. There was a lot of rainstorms leading up to the event too, just to make it kind of soft, but there was a prolonged period between then and the tournament where stuff could dry out. And I was on the ground. I actually, when I went, because the big narrative that week was carry distance, carry distance, carry distance. I remember everybody talking about it. Even I mentioned it. And I actually just, I was like, all right, how soft really is this turf here? And I just put my little thumb down. And it was soft, but, it definitely wasn't like the pillow splat ball that you just see over and over on the PGA Tour. It does drain very well. Like we mentioned, there is some sub air in certain parts of the fairway, just the low lying areas where it can help it, like drain a little bit. So, I mean, this is a golf course as well. As you just give it a couple of days of sun. Like, is this going to be last year, the firm and baked out condition? No, absolutely not. It's not going to be that. All right. It was basically a drought leading in, and they had one day of rain and it just burned off in a day. This isn't the case. So it's not going to be that firm and fast, but it's also not going to be splat ball either. And I think what's really going to maybe throw a monkey wrench in this is there does seem like there is going to be rain on Friday morning. That could really soften things up. Now, there is some wind that's going to come through as well that afternoon. We'll see if that dries it out. But no, I don't expect this to be as fast as last year for certain. It can't. Like last year was perfect conditions. But even in 2022, where it was a little softer, it was a little slower, at least in the fairways, you saw guys at the top that did not have to rely on distance, like Cam Smith did very well, and Shane Lowry did very well. And there were definitely guys who were not necessarily bombers per se. They did very well because they're just really good with their long irons, and the greens were a little more receptive that week than normal, and they were able to take advantage of it. So where guys that year got really punished were like the guys who really were pipsqueaks, like the Russell Henleys or the Christian Bezuidenhouts or the Brendan Todds. But like, if you are somebody with like about average length, you were probably okay that way. Like Corey Connors even did well in that tournament too. So like I don't think bombers are just going to reign supreme like this is a US Open. Obviously they have a leg up at this place because of how long it is in general, but I don't think that's something you need to pigeonhole yourself in this week. My betting card kind of reflects that. It's a little bit all over the place. There's definitely guys with some length on it with a good short game on it, but that's kind of what I valued most. I mostly valued long iron play, really good around the green, because that always just seems like it matters here more than any other PGA Tour venue. If you just look at how guys have accumulated strokes gained at the top of the leaderboard, they're all gaining around the green. So that was definitely a big key for me. 3-putt avoidance, lag putting, and like length obviously helps, but it's not just the only thing that's going to matter this week. Right. So, and I don't know. I mean, Dave, you make a good point. I'm not on Twitter. I only see really what happens in Discord, but that just seemed like that was a little bit of a narrative that was going on. So that's my spiel on that. So, all right.
So what do you want to do? You want to just jump in the bet, Ged?
Yeah. Let's go top of the board.
right.
So you're not. So no single bullet, Scotty. No single bullet, Rory. Pick one though.
Rory.
What are you going with this week?
Rory.
Okay. Expand. Thesis, please.
Thesis is just that it's insanely hard to go back to back. And I mean, you see it just from the obligations that they have to do. And if we are going to do carry distance, and listen, man, it worries me so much to think everything's lining up for Rory. When I think in reality, that top 5, I know obviously he was never going to win and he hold out, but I also think he gained everything with his putter. The only thing that gives me pause is that he seems like he's being a lot smarter around with course management this year. So maybe that can bring into Augusta with the certain spots to miss and things like that. But yeah, I mean, look, if it's between the two of them, I'll take Rory just for my own rooting interests. Yeah, I don't want to see Scottie do it. He's a boring ass golfer, and if he keeps winning, it's just not fun. So yeah.
Okay. Is Rory on your card at all in like a prop or positional, anything like that?
No. So I was looking at some, trying to find some matchups. It's all Scottie. My card's not remotely close to done because my like I said, my brain is in an absolute fucking pretzel. Yeah, I mean, I want Rory on here somewhere. I don't know where to put him
okay.
because I'm not paying the top 10 price. I'm not fucking paying the top 5 price. I'm not doing it. Maybe I'll get cute like an international market or something like that. Or maybe I'll take that fucking 250 on Hard Rock and use it as a semi hedge, right? And just put that on there. And if he wins, great. And hopefully he comes in top 5 and I get my money back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, of everybody, and I kind of got lost in like the skill set portion, like as far as like what I think about like the field in general this year. Feels a lot like 2021, where not really a big dominant bad guy. Feels a little more wide open, but it also feels like going through everybody. Like I don't feel good about anybody on this card. And kind of like what you said, like there's the internal battle of big boy golfers win this event and premium players win this event. But I really just don't like anybody. I don't like really much. There's a lot of bad things I can say about there's bad things I can say about everybody. Top of the board. There's no
Discord was making fun of me that I had like no bets and that I wouldn't even have a card this week because I guess I was in such a mental pretzel on Sunday night already.
Yeah.
So it's like
so just in general, I kind of just leaned, I guess, a little more on skill sets. Yeah. And you're gonna hate a lot of guys I bet this year, but it is what it is. So back to
Cantlay better not be on your card. That's all I gotta say.
Well, he is. I'm transparent because he is. I don't like it, but he is. I bet it in December.
A future number. Fine. I won't hold it against you.
No, I bet that in December. I went on Andy's show and we both said 40-1 because I thought that Cantlay was going to have a good early season and probably see that number go down to like 20-25-1 like he usually does. And he's been fine. Like, honestly, you know what? We'll save the Cantlay talk for a little later. Back to Rory, though. So how about some matchups, okay? So it's not just with Scottie. You can get Rory McIlroy, best price available, -125 over Colin Morikawa. So you're probably going to slam Rory there, right?
I fucking crushed that. I might write Hard Rock to see if they will give me that.
Okay. All right. What about paying big juice Rory -155 over Jon Rahm?
Nope.
No, you're scared of Rahm after what he said today? Okay. Pulled the heartstrings. Okay.
Of course he did. I even said that's why I'm not. That's why I shouldn't be allowed to watch those things because they.
Okay. How about laying big juice Rory -170 over Xander?
No, because I like Xander this week.
Okay. All right. I like Xander for DFS purposes, but I think for a betting card, like I don't know how to get to fit that. At least for me personally. So. Yeah. All right. Rory's not on my card at all. Sky's not on my card at all. Like I could still fill it out. I'm not single. I didn't want to.
Would you not like that Scott? Would you not like the Rory over Morikawa bet?
Well, because I actually do like Morikawa this week, and I know you're going to scream at me for it. I know it's disgusting, and I'm here to just stand up to all the tomatoes and all the barbs you're going to throw at me. I happen to be blessed not to hear that interview today because, quite frankly, I don't really care. I don't really care what these guys have to say at the end of the day. It doesn't really change my opinion much. All right. All these guys are prima donnas.
This would change your opinion.
No, not really.
They're
They're
all
all
being a prima donna. It's not about being a prima donna. It's about being weak-minded, like unbelievable, just like, I mean, brittle ego. Like, I mean, to the level where I was like, literally, I was like, oh, he's lucky he's at Augusta this week because he was at somewhere. If he was at Bethpage, or if he was up at even the country club up in Boston, and people started heckling him, he would fucking crumble.
Okay. All right. Let's move past top of the board then. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's hold on. Let's go back to Rory for 1 second. You're so high on him. Okay. How does it go wrong? How does it go wrong for Rory then this week? Okay. What's the path?
Same way it always does. Fucking, he misses a couple putts early. He does the slump shoulder thing. It gets in between his ears, and before you know it, he's on the fucking bogey train, and that's it. Like, I mean, everything can go wrong for him. He's not particularly like a wizard around the greens. Like, he's been a lot better and he's good here, but he can get stuck in a couple places. He misses a couple fucking 4-foot putts. Listen, there's all types of shit that can go wrong for Rory, right? I mean, there's a reason why this place haunts him. I don't know. I like him better than Scottie, and it's a much better story, right? I mean, look, fucking, it's a better story of golf, I feel like. So it's one of those things that there's no quantifiable anything behind it. It's just I would rather that happen.
Okay. All right. I think it would play out like it did at Torrey Pines, where I think he's going to hit the ball fine this week. Obviously, I think with the weather conditions, favors a guy like Rory tee to green. But historically doesn't really putt very well at Augusta. Has been a little sloppy with some of the lag putting. You know, his 3-putt avoidance numbers haven't been very all that good. So that could definitely get the best of him too. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, like, you're looking like, all right, paying like juice for a top 10 plus 160 for a top 5. You're paying juice in matchup markets. Like, I don't know, unless you're going top Irishman or like round scores or first round leader. Yeah, like that's probably the route to go with Rory. Like first round leader probably is actually
the way to go. I know.
Probably the way to go. Yeah, because Thursday, like the weather seems like it's going to be pretty split and even for everybody. It might be a little colder in the morning, but pretty light winds out of the south. Like I think scoring's gonna be pretty good on Thursday. That we'll get to in a little bit. So probably Rory first round leader, to be honest, is.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Even I might sprinkle that. I never sprinkle first round leader. I might even do that.
What could go wrong?
Well, I think that hit. Didn't that hit last year, or hit at the PGA or something? Maybe it hit PGA or it hit
PGA.
It might have. Yeah, we hit him at. Well, it got dead heated. I think 20-1 to 10-1, but it hit. Yeah. So all right, let's go down the odds board. Okay. All right. So you heard Jon Rahm today talk about how he was dealing with adversity over the last year or so, and that probably pulled at the heartstrings a little bit.
Yep.
Are you I was waiting for his number to drift, and it never did though.
Nope.
I'm kind of disappointed by that.
Me too. Because I'm not betting him at 14. I'm just not.
Yeah, the best number is 15 right now that I can see. Yeah. At least available to me. Yeah, I got like 14. I think it goes back. It goes back to, I think there is like what we talked about on Sunday when he tries to go for that 5th gear, it just isn't there. He's got 4 great gears, and I think that's why he's been just kind of hovering around the top of the leaderboards at Live. Obviously, it's not as good at leaderboards, but just solid, consistent. But when it's been trying to like really step on the gas, sometimes it just isn't there. So is that going to turn around at Augusta, like to peak? I don't know. What's scary is this was my pre-season pick to win the Masters, and I'm going to be really kicking myself if
you don't bet it.
Yeah, because I think back then it was like I liked it like 10-1, 8-1, and now he's double the odds, and even I don't feel good about that.
I mean, he hasn't done anything. I guess the way I would put it in, fuck you, Joey. I would say like he hasn't done anything to make me not want to bet him on Live, right? But he hasn't done anything on Live to be like making me want to run to the window either, right? Does that make sense? Like he hasn't done anything negative, but he hasn't also done anything like that like made me want to do it.
Okay. I want Rahm on my card in some capacity, I think.
Okay.
All right. I don't want top 5 because that just seems like it's going to get dead heated. Okay. What about like the standard top 10, like plus 140? Could do that.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Could take him in the matchup market. So, all right. So let's throw out some matchups. Okay.
No.
All right. I'm not even going to bring up Morikawa because you're just going to say Rahm minus 110 over Morikawa. Okay. All right.
Correct.
How about Rahm? Best price you can get is minus 130 over Bryson.
Yeah.
You're good with Rahm there?
Yeah.
I think I might be too. I don't like Bryson really this week at all.
He chipped in one fucking round. He was first round leader when it was soft. Look, which should benefit him on Thursday, Friday, right? But if it does get even remotely firm and fast, like he's not good around the greens. He's not. He's an amazing putter, crazy off the box, but around the greens, he's not good. It's just the way it is. Like, so I'll take my chances with Jon Rahm. Who even if he's not in contention, remember we used to make the joke he would fucking all of a sudden backdoor a top 5, top 10, no matter where he was at, whether it was in contention or not, because he turned it on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I brought up on Sunday that he actually went to the podium last year and admitted that once the greens get fast, because he can't use his TrackMan at Augusta, then it doesn't hurt him. Like at Pinehurst, they worked out for him because he could use that data. And that helped him there. He can't use that at Augusta though. He's flying blind there. So, to Dave's point, you can putt around the green at Pinehurst. So that kind of helps him there. Can't really do that here.
Yeah, and I'm not even a Bryson hater, by the way. I used to hate Bryson, but he grew on me over the last 2 years. It's just one of those things where he's not in my face every week, acting like a nerdy asshole. So I don't hate him so much, and he's good for the game. Listen, anything that's good for the game of golf, for the most part, I'll get behind, and he's really good for the game. And I mean, look, I liked him when he was skinny Bryson. When he got big, I didn't like him. Now he's back to medium Bryson, so he's fine.
Okay, all right. Let's keep moving down the odds board then. So why don't we talk about a guy that I bet then? Okay, and I actually bet this. I bet this back in December. Okay, so this was another guy. This was another futures. Okay. Back in December, I bet Morikawa at 25-1. He's now 18-1.
To do what?
Price. to do what? To disappoint me massively this week, as he decides what fashion show he's gonna do for his dog, I guess, this week. But I mean, look, all the noise about his press conference today, I don't care about that at all. That's just not something I listen to. Okay. Sure. It doesn't impact the strategy there. Okay.
That's right. Clutch doesn't exist. You're right.
Well, it does.
It does. It certainly does.
I'm also looking at a bunch of guys I don't think are clutch just in general, other than maybe Rory this year. Okay. So it is a bunch of losers. I'm not happy about it. But if I'm just looking for good long iron player, I don't think there's going to be a ton of wind other than Friday afternoon. Softer conditions, I think definitely benefit a guy like Morikawa. If the greens
why does it benefit him? He's not as long. It's not going to benefit.
But he's such a good long iron player, though. I'm talking about the greens. If the greens stay a little more receptive there. Yeah. He's greatly improved his around the green game. Good lag putter.
Allegedly.
I mean, it's when I got it, I was.
I watched him fucking go conservative and let Russell Henley chase him down, chipping fucking 6 feet short, coming home, and not being able to close the door there because his around the green, while not awful like it used to be, not necessarily good. I feel like the baseline was so low that we're like, oh no, it's good now. Meanwhile, he's still leaving things 8-10 feet short.
So you make good points, but he's been very good at Augusta. And there's not a lot of guys I like up at the top. And he fit the most categories for me this week. So, and I think he's long enough to be fine, even with the lack of quote unquote carry distance at this point.
I'll tell you where he's not long.
Okay. All right. We already went over Bryson. All right, then fine. Let's go. Somebody just brought up in the Discord or the chat here. Xander at 25.
It's a fucking super fan number, right?
You like Xander.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Expand on that. What do you like about him then?
Devin actually just made a really funny point. Yeah, I mean, look, this is a guy who we used to call a loser, and he won 2 majors. in the last year. He's coming off a rib injury, right? Takes a little while to knock the rust off. What did he gain the last time he was out in approach? It was
a lot.
It was a lot. It was 11. His iron, right? And the putting's still not there. But look, the players was a disaster. I'll call it the bad wave because nobody remembers. And his around the green has clearly gotten better. As that's
clearly gotten better.
From 5 to losing 5 strokes to losing a half a stroke to green. Yes, that is better. That is better. That's how things progress.
Okay, so field average is better.
I don't care about field average. I'm talking about him and how he.
I know that's what he's been doing the last couple turns. He's been field average.
Listen, I'm fine with that because in the big moments, he's not somebody who's going to shit down his leg. He can look Scottie in the face and win. He can look at Morikawa and make his soul shrink. Do I really think so? Maybe not. If that number was 15, I probably wouldn't be arguing it as much. But at 25, are we going to see him at 25 at any other major this year?
No, but what does that matter here though?
That's fair. Look, it probably doesn't, but I do this all the time, right? I mean, it's if I don't think the number is right, then I'll bet it. And I'm not even a number better guy. It's almost like an insult thing. I'm like, why is he behind JT who hasn't won in fucking 4 years? And it took Mito Pereira to have the worst shot ever for him to even cash that fucking win, and then Will Zalatoris to be Will Zalatoris. Yet JT is in front of him on the betting board. It's silly. It's just silly. And I will take a guy who's won 2 majors in the last year, coming off of injury, trending in the right direction at a place that he fucking loves and finishes well almost every single year.
Okay. All right. I like Xander a lot for DFS this week, but this is a betting show.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at the overall body of work. He's obviously shaking off some rust. But like, even if you look at a guy like Hideki, who was not really doing a ton in the results, it just overall, though, it was pretty solid. He didn't have like these big holes in his game, other than the putter, which is always just what it was for him. But for Xander, though, like, putter has been a big problem. I don't care really what you say about around the green. That has been not nearly as good as what it was last year.
No, I didn't say it was. I said it was trending right.
Right, but you're talking about to go from all of that to then flip it around to he's winning the Masters this year at 25 to 1.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. All right, fine. I wish you the best of luck. You
make me so argumentative that it makes me like dig in more than I actually am.
No, I get it. Listen, I should not be throwing stones at glass houses because I bet Morikawa. I bet losers. Cantlay is on my card. And then here comes another loser that I just kind of ended up settling on this week. I end up settling for Justin Thomas at 25 to 1. I know you're going to shake your head. I know he's a loser.
It's been a good show. I got to go. Cam, you want to come on and do the rest of the show?
Okay.
Unreal. JT. I get it.
Thomas.
I get it.
You get the case. I can just go over the iron numbers, the around the green stuff. He's been a good lag player. He's been improving with the putter. Just solid results all year. Hasn't won. He hasn't won in everything in 2 years.
Right.
But if I'm just looking for things that work at Augusta National where there's just, other than the clutch factor, as you put it, the intangibles that clearly I'm just ignoring this week. I'm just relying on that with him this week. The around the
I would say this.
Okay, go for it.
I would say so. Look, I get the numbers, right? And obviously, he just had the tournament in the clutches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just had it, and then all he had to do was par out, and he fucking shit the bed. He just did.
Yeah.
So the same thing you say as far as like expecting Xander to be able to shake off the rust and be good around the green. I feel like expecting somebody who hasn't won in 2 years, and it took a lot for him to win that as far as like luck boxing into it. Expecting him to turn it on and be able to close at the Masters, I feel like is a big ask.
Okay.
However,
Hideki okay, go for it.
I was gonna say, however, Hideki did the same thing, and his skill set, as much as I dislike JT, he's a wizard around the green. He's great out of the bunkers, and when he doesn't get squirrely off the box, I mean, he's a great player, right? So, what do you think about? So I don't know shit about the caddy. What do you think it's better for him?
I don't know. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, didn't he go to Bones like in his first tournament? He won. So there's that. Like, do we even know who the caddy is at this point?
Yeah, it was Homa's caddy.
Isn't that just a rumor?
No, it is. No, it confirmed.
It's
JT
confirmed him.
Yeah,
Okay.
JT confirmed.
That could work. So I don't know. Maybe a caddy switch at the last minute. Maybe they'll make JT kind of rely on his own instincts. I don't know, but
a good thing. Did you see what he did on? What was it 16? I thought no, it was 15 or 16. Oh, doesn't matter. When he made that horrible decision, but
no, maybe you learn from that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even. I hate JT as a person. As a play, I don't particularly hate it. What number did you get him at?
A 25.
So that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like that's the thing. Like I kind of just like, all right, I could go Ludwig at 20. I could go Xander at between 18 and 25. I could go Joaquin Niemann at 20 freaking 8. Get the heck out of here. I could go Bryson. I could go who else is there? Hideki at 30-1, who's basically shown pretty much zilch ever since he won the Century. There's the Brooks conversation we can save for later. I could go with Trick or Treat Jordan Spieth, who has been a leaky canoe every single week, where one thing is great and then the other thing is awful, and then the next week it just flips like that. I could go with that, I guess.
The way you explained that when I was on him last week was so perfect. As I was texting you, Spieth is a fucking loser and cussing him up and down the entire weekend. Yeah, I think Spieth is fun though.
It's fun. It's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, Spieth is fun. Spieth is fun.
Did you bet Spieth?
He was a future bet. He's
a future bet.
Yeah, I made it forever.
Okay, what 40. Was the number?
40. So it's not even
okay. So so that's about where he's at now. Okay, do you still feel good about it?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Any other analysis behind it, or you just want to move on?
I think you said it perfectly. He's a leaky canoe, right? I will say he does well every other fucking year here. And I will say this: whenever he seems dead here, like if he's in this like fucking impossible spot, he seems to somehow scramble his way out of it. He's got the magic beans, man, as people say. He's fun to watch. For an outright bet, you can't ask for much more of a roller coaster. He's usually on TV a lot too, so that helps. Yeah, I don't know. I get the JT thing. I don't think I can do it though. I get it. That's fine. I just don't think. I don't think his first win in 2 years is going to be the Masters. It seems. Has that happened before?
What, his first win in 2 years was the Masters?
Yeah, over 2 years, the Masters. Who was the last guy to do that?
Hideki.
Was Decky 2 years?
Yeah, it was. That was the only exception of the 12 and 13.
Right.
Hideki.
Yeah,
he had one in, I think 2019 was his last win.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, yeah, it was a while for him. It sounds like though the bet for you up here is going to be that Xander number. I think you talked yourself into it.
I did.
Okay.
I myself do it.
Then that's the bet for you then. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's save the Brooks conversation for later. Okay. I want to talk about some other guys right now. Right. Bobby McIntyre.
Oh boy.
Popular pick.
I liked him until today. Why
did you like him until today?
Because everybody and their fucking cousin was talking about him.
Okay.
I use the golf bet theory the same way I used to use like a hot stock theory. As soon as your checkout girl at Publix asks you about a certain stock or mentions a certain stock, that thing is fucking doomed. Sell it. Like it's gone too far. It's gone too far.
So is that like my inventory manager coming into my office last week and saying he loved Joaquin Niemann and was going to bet him 28-1 and asked me if that was a good idea or not?
Correct.
That's that. Okay. So
that's
there
that.
you go.
That's
there
that.
You go. That's dead. Look, like I thought 60-1 was, I like the number. I know it wasn't the best number because I kind of waited on a lot of this stuff. Again, I struggled to fill out an outright card this week. I was trying to figure out just guys with particular skill sets who've been playing well, who I could envision actually having, the ability to win and grind out a win at Augusta National. And I ended up landing on Bobby Mack at 60-1. I know it's very chalk, but
yeah, listen, I think
I like the skill
number.
sets I'm seeing here.
Yeah, and listen, I love Bobby, and so like, look, I mean, he hasn't even drifted on Hard Rock because it's so fucking lazy. He's still in play for me. It just scares me that like most tipped probably. I can pull it back up, but he's definitely on the most tipped chart, no question about that. Him and Lowry and all these guys, like, I don't know.
And actually, we have a Shorty Vegas pick. If Wilt was steam the year he won, it's similar. Yes, Danny Wilt had a lot of steam. I remember that week. I bet I started the week at like 100-1, but I bet him around 50-1. I think he was a very popular, trendy pick that year.
He was top 20 in the world, wasn't he? It's not like he was.
He had won a couple events. He had won earlier the year in, I think, Dubai. He finished top 10 at, I want to say Terrell, possibly.
Okay.
Or maybe maybe another WGC. So he was playing good and it just kind of fit at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, given Bobby Mack's skill sets, he's long enough. The iron play has been really solid all year. He's been really good around the green, good at a lot of these around the green comp places as well.
Lefty
good putter has had a T12 and a T23 at this event.
Yeah.
So
lefty. Yep.
Yeah, lefty. It always plays well. I love lefties. I'm a lefty myself. So that's on the betting card too. Okay.
All right. So Devin's with you. So he has, man, talk about a leaky driver, somebody who had him at the Scottish and the other win. I've been on him both times he's won. And both times his driver's been fucking terrifying. So it has been better.
Actually, I need to fact check something that Mr. Dave just said.
Okay.
So, you know what? No, he is right. I thought he won the Yas Golf Links, and no, he won at the Emirates. And that actually has been a tournament that has seen guys who win there end up winning at Augusta National for whatever reason. I don't think there's really anything to it, but it's happened. Willett won there. I think Sergio won there. So that was a trend that I think you and I talked about, like early OG golf gambling podcast days.
Yeah. Early days.
So, unfortunately, Mr. Hatton, I just
it's broken. Something's wrong with him.
Like if I'm not buying a Xander turnaround, how could I buy a Terrell Hatton turnaround this week?
No, listen, I agree. And so I was on Jacksonville radio earlier tonight, and they asked me about Hatton, and I said, listen, as somebody who loves Hatton, Mrs. Hatton, I'm not putting a single cent on Hatton. I targeted him in a matchup. We actually just talked about it. I took Bobby Mack over Terrell Hatton at -110 on Hard Rock.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought that was a really solid bet. I think that's my second or third favorite bet that I've placed. Yeah, I mean, there's something wrong with Hatton, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. And that's the thing that sucks. The fact that he's on live is like, there's only so much you can see and know, but he is not right. And Bobby Mack is right. And listen, we've been on record. Remember, he said Terrell hates this place until last year. He finally did well, or 2 years ago, whenever it was. He's on record saying Augusta's not fair. It doesn't reward good shots. You remember that whole thing?
Yeah, I remember the whole thing. And that's why I was like, he will never be on my betting card. And then I saw him towards the top of the leaderboard last year. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. No way. You suddenly figured it out here, I guess. So,
yeah.
All right. So can I get the Patrick Cantlay kind of pep talk, rah Siskumba right now?
I'm gonna pep. I'm not gonna fucking pep talk you for Patrick Cantlay.
This is me coping with trauma of a truly embarrassing bet.
For 3 fucking years, you're gonna stop betting this goddamn loser. Every year you tell me, this is it. I'm done. This is it. And then 4 weeks go by. Well, and then here comes some bullshit excuse on what's going to happen, and it never happens because he stinks. He's not good.
He does stink. Okay?
Stinks.
But I have to kind of rally the troops this week for myself, my own sanity, and try and basically just eat a shit sandwich at this point. Look, last week he was awful around the green, and he couldn't putt, but he hit the ball good and he drove it pretty good. Now, the problem with all that is that's basically what he has done at Augusta his entire career. He has been really good ball striking at Augusta, but he sucks putting. And the around the green play has been, I mean, it's been okay, but you know, he just doesn't inspire confidence. And
No, of course
but I'm a
not.
man of my word. I am transparent. This is a bet.
No, you're not. You said you're going to stop betting him for 3 years.
No, I went on a microphone and said I bet it. I could be like other people and just kind of sweep it under the rug at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I didn't do it. He is on the betting card. I'm embarrassed by it, but it is what it is.
Should be. Shame.
And this is why I added another 40-1 that I like better, that has some red flags, but he at least, if I'm going to treat this week like I'm going to Disney World, that I just want to put together a happy betting card. I want golfers to make me happy.
Steve, have you taken your kids to Disney World?
Not yet, but I will.
Listen.
I'm talking about
Hey.
me. I'm talking about, okay. All right. Time out. This is just me going, not being a dad and dragging around 5-year-olds. This is just me
that's a different
personally.
issue.
Just go. Yes,
Disney adults have to be on a list.
Okay, fine.
Those
I'm
weirdos are something else.
Okay, I'm
Like,
channeling my
forget
inner
about that.
child. All right, I'm channeling my inner childhood at this point.
I was just trying to
The
let you know.
metaphor is I
Disney
want to
World's
just
not
go.
fun. All right.
I want to go. I want to get a big like Mickey stuffed animal.
Turkey leg.
I want to go on
Yeah.
Space Mountain 50 times. Okay,
Yeah.
and you know what I want to do, despite me being a little ambivalent about this, I want to put Brooks Cup on my betting card this week, and I'm gonna put Brooks Cup on my fucking betting card this week. Okay,
Love it. I like it.
and I love his iron play coming in. He's been great around the green. The driver is scary. Why is he driving it like Eric Cole? Like, I was half kidding, but legitimately, what the hell happened? Now, apparently, though, he has switched drivers this week. He is testing out the Titleist GT on the range. Some people don't like that. Look, maybe that
Why?
can be
Why
something
not?
that unlocks him a little bit.
Think about the first time you get a new driver, you get to go play with it. You got all the confidence in the world because you got no scar tissue with that driver. You just listen to that guy gash you up at the fitting. Oh man, you're fucking striping the ball, and oh look at that spin rate. Look at that. Look at this. And you're like, oh fuck yeah. You go out to the course. You're like, you see what I did in that bay? No thoughts, no nothing. You play great the first like 2 rounds, and then you go back to the same old shitty swing.
Yeah, funny enough, I bring up this point by the way because Scottie's been having trouble driving it this year. You think maybe because he switched to that driver, like maybe that's kind of causing it? Like last year's TaylorMade, like it seemed like that was just a weapon for everybody at that point.
Well,
But
you
this
remember the
new model
was it
definitely seems like it's not as good.
Well, you remember the same thing happened with was it the Stealth 2s? Remember they all switched? I think it was the Stealth 2. They all were like, fuck this shit, and like kicked it to the curb. So
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, they all just wanted to play this to the south. I think like Kyle Morikawa threw a shit fit trying to get into that thing. So, which tracks because he's a prima donna. Apparently melted on the podium today. So, all right. So that listen, for all the CL or not CLB people, for all the betting card police saying ROI people, look, it's the Masters. It's not even that offensive. I bet Kyle Morikawa 25, Justin Thomas 25. Cantlay, which is a tax write-off at this point. Brooks Koepka at 40 and Bobby Mack at 60. That's my betting card. Kind of happy with it. As happy as I can be given this field and the state of golf kind of at this point. But I can live with myself with that.
Okay. I guess.
Okay. All right. Let's move down the card because now we're moving more into positionals for me and probably more guys that might be long shot bets for you, possibly.
I'm telling you. So my guess is like I'm gonna bet Xander as soon as this thing's over. I already got a future on Jordan. I got a future on Brooks as well.
There you go. Okay, join me.
Just in solidarity. I knew you were gonna bet him. That's all I got. I mean, that might be enough. I mean, I still got that 250 with the hedge. Maybe I put that on Rahm instead of fucking Scottie and Rory to make myself happy.
Okay, so you're really over leveraging then at that point. You're going Rahm, go Xander, go Speed.
I mean,
it's
240s, a 240s, a 25, and a 14 but the 14 is like free. It's free money.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, all right, let's move down the card then. Positionals.
You know I don't math.
You what?
You know I don't math.
Okay. All right. Listen, Dave, I don't look at the tip charts before I bet, okay? Choose not to.
No, that's
Sometimes
why we
it goes
didn't-
well
we
for
didn't-
me, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and we didn't do
Okay.
we didn't do the tip chat tonight because our producer, we're pretty sure, is drunk and kidnapped in a hotel room in Mexico based on pre-show. So I pulled it up to see what it was, and we just kind of skipped past it. So we're good.
Yep. All right. Let's go to some positionals, I bet. These are all top 20s. I might add a couple top 10s just because whatever at this point.
Okay, I got three top 20s that I bet. But I bet positionals. Like the only things I don't have is my fucking outrights.
Okay. All right. What's a top 20 you got right now?
So I went Keegan, man. He's got 2 top 25s here. He lost like 9 strokes putting last week. I'm exaggerating, but it was something close to that. Plays well here. Good long iron player. If it's wet, I don't give a shit. He's got the carry distance. He's long and straight. He's good enough around the green. He was trending right until last week, and that ejection was pretty bad, but it was all putting. So I'll focus on him to come back into play. It's plus 250.
Does he even have a top 20 here?
Yeah, well, he's got 2 top 25s.
Okay, but you have to get inside the top 20 to win that bet, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of how that works, Steve. Yes, I am. But he's right there.
Hey, you know, listen,
see what I'm
I
saying?
didn't know if you didn't know like the rules or anything. Like if it was like kind of like an each way, like if it's like top 28 places and you get like
No.
like half your bet or something.
He's a guy who's right there, and
Okay.
he's a good player. So plus 250. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Fine with it.
I mean, 9 times a charm, I guess,
You
right?
bet fucking Morikawa and JT. Don't you dare shame me, you fucking loser.
All right, fine. All right, here's another loser I bet then that you hate, but at least it was only positional. I almost bet him outright, but it was only positional. There was a 2-1 on Will Zalatoris for a top 20, and considering he's had 3 top 10s here,
He's so good here.
The iron play has been tremendous. Like that's been awesome this year. It's been trending up. He's starting to get back. Remember, he lost a lot of power after the back injury. He's starting to get that back.
I think he's put weight on.
Yeah, he scrambles He's been
looks like
scrambling
put a
pretty
little weight
well
on.
here. Putts well at Augusta. I thought 2-1 for a top 20 for Zalatoris. Like, I thought that was, I like that.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, listen, like we thought he was going to win the Players, and then he completely melted, on Saturday. But he's shown he can definitely.
That was one bad decision. I watched it happen. I was like, what is he doing? And it was bad decision, death.
I know.
So,
yeah, we got to avoid that this week.
Shorty Vegas pick. Very, very correct. Here. We'll talk about Cam Young here in a second, sir.
Okay. All right. These are 2 top 20s that I bet on last Friday, I think.
Okay.
I just went looking on the odds board. And I was just like, these are good prices. One of them, I backed up this was before I bet him outright, but I there was a top 20 at Bobby Mack at 2-1. He's like plus 150 now. I like that anyways. I just like Bobby Mack in general this week. Patrick Reed though. That's my lock top.
About that one.
Yeah, that's my lock top 20 this week. He has been absolutely money here. I'm fine. Like what he showed at Terrell was good enough for me. I know he faded over the weekend. He has been playing pretty good overall worldwide and on live this year. And the guy just knows how to ham and egg it at Augusta National and get around. And maybe it was a little bit of cooler temperatures over the weekend. Ball's not going to fly as far for everybody. It might be a little bit more of an up and down game. I trust him to do it in those conditions. Reed top 20. I got him a 3-1 last week. He's down to like plus 210. I like that anyways.
I like it anyway too. Yep, exactly right.
All right.
So I took so.
Go
I was going to say, so Shorty Vegas said, if you like Zalatoris and course history, why don't we like Cam Young for longer odds? Well, sir, as somebody who said Cam Young is never winning a golf tournament, I looked at his course history and look what he did last week. I went ahead and took his top 20 at 5-1. 5-1.
Okay.
Top 20. If it's going to play soft for Thursday, Friday, maybe he won't miss the cut. And maybe he can sneak in and get a top 20. He has a great course history here for whatever fucking reason. And he didn't look like a walking zombie the last 2 weeks, which is good. So I thought the number was right. And maybe it's just bear off, just like slowly like oozing into my thought process because he keeps hammering Cam Young. But I actually don't think it's a bad bet this week based on how he plays majors, and he played all right last week. Played pretty good last week. So I'm fine with that. Maybe the market didn't adjust enough, or maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. And I haven't bet Cam Young in fucking forever, but 5-1 for a top 20, those things always tickle my balls. So I love shit like that.
All right. So here's my Cam Young exposure. He is on my, remember that majors draft that we did earlier in the year. He is on that. He's on that team. And despite my best efforts to do a salary dump trade where I will take on your dead cap just to get him off my roster, he's still on there. If he does great this week, then yeah, I'm gonna blow up the chat this week. Our text chain with all you haters and losers who doubted Cam Young. And I'm the only one. I got laughed at that major draft, by the way. And I thought it was gonna actually. I thought it was kind of a smart pick, and no, I deserved the laughter at that point. But yeah, that's that. You can have fun with that. Here's a top 20 that we talked about him on Sunday. I don't know if that was the gin that was kind of getting you into this.
Usually is, Steve. Usually is.
But like, look, everybody loves Minwoo Lee this week, right? Coming off a win, length, good putter, good around the green, did well at Memorial Park. Like his top 20 at price is like plus 160, right? You can get Wyndham Clark for top 20 plus 250 with the basically same skill sets.
Let's go. Yes.
I bet that. I went that route instead. And I know last year didn't go very well for Wyndham, but that was his first time. Sometimes it takes like a year just to kind of get, figure things out at Augusta National.
And he was trying to be all cutesy with the media, wearing all black and talking shit to the live guys. Like, I feel like he thought he was a little too big for his britches at that point. And maybe he's back down to earth, I don't know.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm fine with Wyndham Clark this week. He has the skill sets I'm looking for here. And maybe he didn't have a great day today, but it was one day and it was only a couple holes. So that's fine. And I don't care about that all that much.
Let me stop you real quick. So I have Wyndham Clark top 10 at 7-1.
Ooh, okay. Like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do the top 20. I did the top 10, 7-1.
Okay. All right. A couple other guys that I didn't bet positional, but I kind of like. Look, I mean, like just a guy that knows how to golf the ball and get around in tougher conditions and tough golf courses. I'm like Justin Rose just seems like kind of a boring top 20 pick. I mean, he showed up a couple times this year. You do that. I didn't actually go with it, but that's someone that, I highlight. Maybe Daniel Berger. I don't know. That's kind of uninspiring though. Ben On, who's going to appear on my betting card later.
So I was all over Ben On earlier, and then somebody came out, and now it made me not want to do it.
Okay.
Do you have Henley on your card? We've had multiple people ask about Henley. Do you have Henley anywhere on the card?
No.
There's been plenty of content creators who have talked about Henley, by the way. He's going to be uber chalk in DFS.
Yes.
I don't listen to a ton, and I've heard him numerous times. He's not for me. But
no, he's not for me. He's not for me either. I'm unconvinced about how firm the fairways are going to be, especially if we get some rain on Friday.
Yeah.
And I think the greens will be okay, but I'm unconvinced about, like, it's not going to be, like I said, splat ball, but it's not going to be last year either, firm and fast. And I am concerned about guys who are really, really, really short in those conditions. If I think the turf conditions are going to be like 2022 and I was there, all those short knockers did not really do well. Like, and I'm not talking about like the guys with average length. I'm talking about your Henleys, your Brendan Todds, Bezaden Hoots, like that,
like the shorties.
Yeah, those guys really struggled that year, and that's what I'm worried about with Henley, and especially if he's going to be a little more popular. So, but I get it though. Like, I get the argument with it. He's had 2 top 10s or a couple top 5s. He's been really good here, been great all year, won at Bay Hill. Like, I get it. This is just an angle I'm going on with Henley.
Yep, I'm with you.
And I'm just going to, that's my take.
Oh, and I want it for the record, by the way. At the end of the show, I said I was not going to cut my dick off if Henley actually won. I was just being hyperbolic.
No, we signed a contract. We're going to hold you to that.
There's no contract. I'm not Mike Vrabelling it.
All right. You want to get to
My
props?
wife would be very upset.
Okay. You want to get to props?
Well, yeah. Hold on. Let me give. Do you have any matchups? Anyone? You don't. You're
No,
not.
because
doing
I just
right?
went.
Okay.
I went straight tournament props instead of matchups.
All right. So let me give you. So I only have one more matchup, and then I have one more top 10, which is my favorite bet on the board. And they both involve the same. Both involve the same person. So for matchup, I went Cam Smith over Victor Hovland plus money plus 120. It is course history, and it doesn't matter. Dude, he came in last year in shit fucking form and still top 10 this place. And I will believe what Victor tell me. He didn't know where the hell the ball was going, and he luck boxed into that win. So I will take it all day. Victor around here chipping, it has been a goddamn horror movie every time he's here. So other than that one round. So yeah, I love the plus money on Cam Smith. He's so good here. It doesn't matter how bad he is off the box, and how shaky his irons are. He's a magician around the greens, and he just knows this fucking place.
Okay. I mean, I can't really dispute any of that. I mean, if I like Patrick Reed, like Cam Smith can just do the same thing. And he's done that over
Cam Smith
and
is
over.
a better version of Patrick Reed, in my opinion. But he's my guy. So that's biased. And so that takes me to the next bet. Cam Smith, top 10, plus 450. He's done that 3 out of the last 4 years he's been here. That first year was rough coming out of Live, and he still made the cut. And I think he actually just kind of melted on Sunday, if I remember correctly. It was like 15 or 16. He didn't do well on that hole and like doubled. He just knows his way around here really well. He should have fucking beat Scottie that year if it wasn't for that stupid, was it the third hole with the obstruction that Scottie got to cheat and chip it and got to move the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, yeah, I mean, look, I like Cam Smith a lot this week, and I'm a Cam Smith guy, but Steve, I haven't been on Cam a lot, digging in a little bit, and I think this might be a good week for him.
Okay, all right, let's go props.
Come on.
So, how about some nationality props? You love their nationality props. We just had a couple fly in the chat here. I'm on one. Do you have any nationality ones?
So I have 2.
Okay. You sound hesitant as you take a sip of
because one I like, one I'm like, not so much.
Okay. All right.
You want to go here? So the one I like, top Asian.
Okay.
Kevin Yu.
Well, you're getting sucked into that too, aren't you?
Dude, 8-1. 8-1.
Okay.
Look at his approach. Look at his approach numbers coming. In this field, he's 7th in approach. 7th in approach. I know it's his first time. No one knows what happened with the decky. Benny On is completely just Jekyll and Hyde. You have no idea what's going to happen. Benny On could absolutely win. He's plus 450. I don't hate that fucking play either. Sanjay M is completely fucking broken. He's not doing anything. So 8-1. I like that bet. A guy who's playing his irons really well and can putt okay around the green. Okay. I know that's fine.
Big believer in the Sanderson comp then apparently for this place. Sergio won here. Kevin Yu's going to win here. Sam Burns always really good at this place too.
Sanderson, fucking Christ. That's where he putted with his eyes closed, right?
Yes, it was.
Motherfucker. I couldn't believe that shit.
I know you
was that our first or second year together?
God, I think that was I think that was fall of 2020. So that was our first year.
That was our first year. Yeah.
Yeah. That was I think that was a couple weeks before the disaster, the RSM with Bobby Streb breaking our heart.
Unreal.
Yeah, that sucked. All right, look, it's 8-1 for a good ball striker who has some length.
Yeah, man, come on, let's go. Give me some value. These are the fun bets. These are the fun bets. Don't give me the plus 150s of that fucking bullshit.
Okay, well then I guess I got a boring bet for you because it's 2-1. Oh,
God.
All right. Well, I went a similar route, but I went to low Korean. And I'm looking at the 3-way market there of you have Tom Kim, who is just a walking disaster at this point. And if I think the guys who are really, 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 really short, like him, might be a little behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
It might not work out all that great. Sung Jae is a complete disaster and a mess. So just by process of elimination, how about I go with Ben On, who has a top 20 here, has some length, and has shown a little bit of form, at least in the Valspar and a couple places recently. So 2-1 top Korean Ben On. That's my bet.
Yep, I love it. So that was actually another one I was looking at. So now that you did it, I'm going to do that one as well.
Okay. All right.
Love it.
Can I talk
I
about?
I can technically win both bets.
You technically could. Yes. All right. Let's talk about the cut line. Okay,
Hold on. I still got another. I told you I had 2 nationality props.
All right, fine. What's your nationality? Sorry.
Top Scandinavian.
Okay.
If we don't think Ludwig is going to be able to back up the performance that he had last year, and we think Vic is broken, why don't we bet the darling that we've been betting and waiting to do anything, and we bet Nikolai.
Okay.
He's just got to beat his brother Rasmus, a bad Victor, and Ludwig, who's not going to do it, and it's 6.5 to 1.
All right. So here's the thing.
Only 3 things have to happen, Steve. He just has to beat 3 guys.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This has been kind of rattling around my brain. So it seems like this year that
and Dave, I can bet both. I can bet both Højgaards, and if one of them wins, I still win.
Yeah, it seems like this year that we just begin the wrong. We just get the Højgaards
every
wrong.
time. Every time.
But there's a theory I have, in that, the Prestige, the movie, where they had the twins that would switch places with each other.
The Magic movie.
Yeah, the Magic movie. Yeah, one guy was like
was it Ed Norton?
No, that's the one with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. Okay, it's the one where Christian Bale has the twin, but they switch places, like it's the magician.
Oh yeah,
everything like that.
Okay.
So one of them is the genius, the artist, like the responsible good dad, and then the other one is just the complete psychopath, train wreck, womanizer at all. And it seems like this year with the Højgaards, one of them has been really good in a tournament, and the other one has been really bad. And it's popped in my head. Do these guys maybe switch places, kind of like in that movie, where just the real train wreck, sometimes he shows up as Rasmus to a tournament, and then the next one shows up as Nikolai, and then vice versa? Because I can't figure it out, like trying to pick which ones are going to be good in a given week. I get it wrong. So that's the only explanation I can come up with.
Fuck it. You can bet them both, and if one of them wins, you're still good.
There you go.
Now if neither win, then you're fucking out. Both, but
Okay. All right. Let's talk about tournament props. Okay.
We have been talking about tournament props.
Okay. All right. This was in Discord. This is a good advertisement to become an insider. The 19-1 round scores. That's a good advertisement. Well, yeah, that's a good advertisement. But did you happen to see what I posted earlier about something I saw on Bet Online?
That was fucking crazy.
That was crazy. So they had posted one of these winning score props of just like, it wasn't the over under, it was just like the ranges. And for whatever reason, they hung a winning score -10 or better at 2 to 1. And I'm like, so my first thought in my head was like, what's the trick? What's the gimmick?
Right. Yeah. What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing right here?
Yeah, is this actually for the par 3 contest? Because that would be bad. But I decided to bet it anyways. And then I posted it and then immediately started getting bet down and bet down and bet down. And by the time it was about 25 minutes, 10 under or better was at -225 at that point, and currently is now off the board. And I've been paranoid to make sure they had no actioned it because of what happened there, but they're apparently honoring it. So, but as far as like the actual winning score, I think it's at like 11.5. And I think it's going to be a little better than that.
Yeah, me too.
Because
based on what you've said, and if it's going to be perfect over the weekend, like,
well, it's not perfect in the sense that it's going to be a little colder, but like pretty light winds in general. The toughest day is definitely going to be Friday afternoon. That's going to get me to my cut line prop that I actually did bet. Friday afternoon is going to be the toughest conditions of the tournament. You're going to get after the morning rain, which I think might benefit not might, it will benefit the morning, the AMT times. That's, even though they are going to get a little bit of the west wind, but the afternoon, it's going to get a lot tougher. That's where I'm going to target my over round scores
on Friday
because
afternoon.
Friday afternoon. My hope is because Thursday looks to be 75 south wind from like 10 to 15 miles per hour. Usually that scoring condition usually breeds like an average score of like mid 72s, high 72s at that point. And look at the round scores. It's like 70.5, 71.5, 72.5. Like those are probably a smidge high, but you're playing with fire at that point because still Augusta National is going to play over par. But my hope is it's pretty good scoring that day, and the books either don't adjust or they maybe adjust it down a little bit, and then I just go to town on the PM overs. On Friday, they just don't respond. But that's the only really brutal weather day, I would say. And I don't even think it's going to get above 74, a scoring average. So we're probably going to see, I think, a couple days where the scoring average is going to be in the 72s, like high 72s, probably Thursday and Sunday. I think Friday probably will be like 73.8 or so. Saturday, because it's a little colder, maybe low 73s. And then Sunday, probably, you're 72.5, 72.8, depending. It's still a long ways out. We could change the forecast, but probably at that point, I would say it nets to an average score, probably around what we talk about on Sunday, around 73. And if the winner usually gains like 16, 17 strokes, it's usually going to end up being like 12 under, 13 under. So I think that's your winning score.
And then there's a possibility where like three guys just separate themselves as well.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I think 12 under, 13 under is where I would land on that. And as far as the cut line goes, so historically, the line that you can actually get on Bet Online right now, that's still hanging at 147.5. I jumped on it earlier, and I hope you guys did too. I posted that in the Discord. It was at like minus 115. I jumped on that on the under very early. It is still hanging at 147.5. You got to pay like minus 165.5 or minus 165 on it though. Here's the thing, though. I went back and looked at the scoring for the first 2 days and where the cut was, and anytime it was +4 or worse. And every single time it needed two things. It basically needed 2 rounds, 1 round at least of in the average of 73s, and then another round of like 74 or worse. I just don't see how we're going to get there. I don't see how we're going to get to a 74 plus round the first 2 rounds. And I think on Thursday, it's going to be in the 72s. So at that point, there's no 10-shot rule anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. Like in 2019, it was really easy conditions, and there was a 10-shot rule. So +3 was the cut line. It actually screwed everybody that year. Because I think I bet the under, and the 10-shot rule got everybody. They don't have that anymore.
I forgot that. I feel like I forget that every year. I feel like I look at you like that every year.
Yeah. Well, they don't have that anymore, so I don't have to worry about it. It's just top 50 and ties. And so I think it's probably going to be, I estimate on +2 on Sunday. The big wins on Thursday afternoon give me a little bit of concern that it might go to +3, but I think under 147.5 is pretty safe. Now, a couple of other books, though, it's 146.5.
Leave that one.
Probably still lean under, but it's close. I think. I think Thursday really could, like, if they don't get a lot of rain earlier in the morning, like Thursday afternoon could be pretty spicy. I think it's already going to be spicy because it's going to be out of the west wind from 10 to 20 miles per hour.
Okay.
So we'll see. But if you can get your hands on a 147.5, which I see right now on my screen on Bet Online, even if you're eating the juice, I like that. I don't see this getting a +4 at all. Okay. So I think you're good there. Another score prop I'm on. Again, this kind of plays with just like the overall tournament in general of the scoring conditions, where I don't see a death wave like we saw last year in 2022, or just like a 74.5 average round score. I don't think we're going to see any of that. And also just looking at the field too, like there's not a lot of bums. Like even the old timers can still kind of play. Like you don't have your Larry Mizes anymore. You don't have your Ben Crenshaws. You don't have your Craig Stadlers.
You got Angel coming out, fucking prison swole, ready to go.
So Angel Cabrera won a tournament in South America, by the way.
Well, yeah, Andy made it out of prison. That motherfucker is swole. He did nothing but fucking lift weights. He's good to go.
He still can hit it pretty far.
Of course he can. He lifted weights for 2 years.
So there's what's the highest score going to be for the tournament? 84.5.
Ooh.
And
don't forget, Max Homa is still playing.
So Max Homa is still there. But even in I went back and looked, like even in 2022 with impossible weather conditions, or 2024 impossible weather conditions, nobody shot worse than 83.
Nobody shot at 84 that Friday we were there.
No one did. I think the high score was 82. Like everybody shot like 78 that day, but no one shot above 84.5. So even in those days, and like there's really I think the only ones I really got to worry about is probably Mike Weir and probably Olazabal is the ones I gotta worry about. But otherwise, though, I just don't think the weather is going to be all that difficult where it's going to be impossible for somebody. I think these old timers are going to have to lay up on all the par fives anyway. So even if you got that west wind, like they're still playing the hole the same way.
Yeah.
So I took under 84.5 highest score at -130 and just hoping those guys don't make the weekend. I don't have to worry about it at that point, and can just go from there.
Like it.
Okay.
Like it.
How about hole in one? So obviously this is a gimmicky bet. Okay.
Do those.
But it's a fun sweat. I mentioned that I kind of want just to have some sort of fun bet on my card. We haven't had a hole in one in 16 in a couple of years.
Well, listen, I got a hole in one this year, so maybe I bet the hole in one prop. Maybe we put the good juju on it.
Okay. So we haven't had a hole in one in 16 in a couple of years. I think with the weather conditions this year, with lighter winds, not quite as firm and fast. I think we could see one on 16 this year. Now, I didn't do what I used to do, which is bet in 16 in round 4. Like, because we've seen hole in ones happen like round 1, round 2. Whenever they put the pin like even front, like it can happen. And then you feel like
what was the year they moved? What was the year they moved the Sunday pin and you freaked the fuck out?
Oh, it was the COVID year. They're like, oh, this is a special.
You're like, that's the Sunday pin position. What the fuck?
We're not gonna have the Sunday pin position here. We're gonna put it on the top shelf on Sunday. You fucking idiots. So I'm sorry, you're the Green Jackets. You are the most powerful people on earth. But look, I put a little bit on hole in one on 16. Yes, anytime in the tournament. Look, it's a stupid bet. It's a terrible odds, but
that's a fun bet.
It's a fun bet.
Every time they cut to it on TV, you get to take your breath away for a second.
Exactly. Anytime you see some random loser who's +7, or like if you're watching the broadcast and then you hear a random roar, you're just like, what was that?
Is that my money?
Maybe that was it. So it's
like, here's Harris English. He's +4 through today. Let's see what he's doing on this hole in one shot. Oh
God,
wonder what's gonna happen.
He would get that is the type of guy that would get the hole in one too. Harris English.
Yeah, the goober.
Maybe we should bet that. Those
Maybe.
Like what? Like anytime hole in one at 50 to 1? Yeah. What's the EV on that one?
Fucking negative.
Probably not very good.
Yeah, negative bazillion.
All right. Those are my tournament props that I have. Right. If anyone else has any like scoring props you want to ask me about in Discord, just come at me. Like I said, I am definitely I'm hoping that we get some juicy round score lines for Friday afternoon and we can take advantage again, but we'll see.
I'm going to have to deposit into a fucking offshore. So anybody who has like refer friends for offshore, hit me up in the Discord. I'm going to have to go deposit in offshore, but they have to have round score bets. Because I'm sick of missing out on this shit.
I'll hook you up.
Fine, fair enough.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen. It's the end of the show. So if you made it this far, do the right thing. Go to Inside Golf, man. Masters month and Masters year. Get 25% off. Come join the Discord. It is literally the best place to be in the golf gambling space. It's unbelievable. I can't even. It's just. It's a home away from home. It really is. It's a beautiful place. There's nobody who tilts on a Thursday like our Discord does. Nobody who gives out better information. I think on Jacksonville Radio today, I said Yeah, my partner, Steve, is a better weatherman than anyone in the state of Florida, I believe is what I said on the radio today. And based on his wind, everybody's catching good showdown wins. We're catching round score props based on that. So, yeah, listen, come join it. It's a great bunch of dudes. Andy, BK, Bearhoff, fucking, yeah, just, yeah, come check it out, man. It's a great spot to be. 25% off. Use those codes. And then, other than that, it's Masters Week. Come hang out in the Discord. Let's break them fucking books. Let's go.